10. This is very, very weird going into this.
It is. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're ready to get back underway. The Ninjas in Pyjamas will start things off on the attacking side with Team Reciprocity beginning our ban phase and starting on the defense. For Coastline to begin things, again, it might be a little shaky to start things off for NIP, but they start on the attack where you kind of get to run around and have some more fun. The Lion Band coming up from Rec, I'm not shocked, honestly. That's a bit of a crutch that NIP could lean on should they choose to. We saw FaZe doing that at the beginning of the day, sticking 9XT on the Lion as well. Just as you're a flank holder, you press the button when we need you to press the button, and that's your job.
There you go.
If you can complicate things for Polo and Barrage as much as possible, that's a good look there for Rec. We're going to lose the Thatcher as well. That's been a mainstay almost all day.
Yeah, especially in LATAM, but as you were pointing out earlier, a little bit of a misread there. Bank was the first ban by Ninjas in Pyjamas, so yes. Apologies for that. But still, an extremely often ban for the likes of Coastline. But again, with the best of 3 format, it's kind of pick your poison.
It is, and for NIP, like you said, these are, at least, Coastline for Latin America as a whole, at least in their own region, not fans of it. When they go interregional, they play it a little bit more than never, but that's about it. We're going to get a Vigil ban from Rec. I mean, okay. I'm sorry, that's a little bit out there.
Yeah.
I can't recall the last time I've seen a Vigil ban.
Vigil is extremely niche. That's the thing that's really just dropping my jaw right now, is that he has to have utility behind him to back up his playstyle. You really can't just pick Vigil and he does it all. You want to have, your Mozzie, your Mute, something else along with him in order to make him as effective as he can possibly be. So, I'd much rather see, to be completely honest, a Mozzie ban in that place.
Yeah, I was going to say, the pick rate for Vigil has really plummeted off the face of the earth ever since Mozzie's come out, and it's because Mozzie is just a better roaming Vigil. Vigil has very selfish utility. His utility doesn't help the rest of the team. Mozzie's does. You can share that utility. Anyone can hop on those drones when you capture them. The Nitro Cell, much more beneficial than impact grenades when you have a lot of secondary shotguns these days. Speaking of a secondary shotgun, Mozzie also has one of those, and 2 pretty awesome primary weapons that you can choose from. Do you want the rate of fire? Do you want the better damage? Laxing is going to take away or opt to take the damage benefit. We've seen the Roni come out today for the higher rate of fire. That's Mozzie. He's just good all around. Or you could take Nitro Cell, if you can take Barbed Wire if you opt not to take the Nitro Cell. What is going on, Lax?
I believe Lax is tabbed out for a second. I think it was just fixing something inside of his team speak there.
There you go.
Got that all squared away now. Reciprocity is ready to play. No tech pauses. We are all good. So, long road ahead of us, folks. It's currently 9:53 local time PM. That's not AM. So, it's going to be a long one, Flynn. We might actually be here till 1 AM.
If this goes the distance, then we might be, but so be it. That's quarterfinals day for you. And for NIP, honestly, going 3 maps, that would be a victory in and of itself. But like I said, it's time to put up or shut up. No more complaining, no more worrying about the situation. Just deal with it. Come here, try and win outright. There's nothing more you can do to rectify the situation. Polo going to be starting with the Fuser in hand as well. And I really want to see how Polo and Barrage play off of each other. Fox can be droned out inside of security hallways. It looks like it's Barrage to be pushing in behind that drone. 2 drones dispatched by Foxay, and he'll put down a Legion Mine as well. Instead, it was Pino, on that F2. Turns the corner, but Foxay will win it out. Skies has been down, though, inside of the kitchen hallway to trade out by Psycho. So there he goes on the Buck, an often operator, another one that's banned by Latin America quite often. And now Foxay pinned in the corner, and there goes Polo to take them down. Good start there for the substitute player for NIP.
Yeah, you didn't think that was going to go Fox's way, but it's the Reciprocity way. Laxing going to continue to force this envelope home, and Ninjas in Pyjamas now on equal footing with Reciprocity. Laxing with a double on the round, and what else would you expect from him? Mark on cool vibes, but it's going to be Laxing again. That's going to be a triple. Pola gonna be all by himself now. Frag grenades in hand, gonna dump another one over. Might be able to get a kill. Almost kills himself, actually. It is a soft wall that was to his left. Could have possibly been able to actually murder himself out, but no, it doesn't even matter. It's gonna be Laxing with 4. He's already getting out of his chair. Name something that sounds more NA.
Round number 1 for Laxing, but he goes off the charts with a 4-bang there. Foxay getting the opener as well, in a situation that he probably should not have won that engagement, so Pino getting a little caught off guard there. It's good to see Pino back in the rotation as well, and we're going back to kitchen and service now for our second defense. For that round there, honestly, it was the roam. The roam was so strong there for Reciprocity, and the roam clear so ineffective from NIP. I didn't know what the bomb site was, and I never cared to check.
Yeah, I never
that was a
cared to
hookah
check either.
defense, by the way, if anyone clocked that, because I certainly didn't.
I'm in the exact same boat as you, my friend. I never looked, and I just assumed, hey, we're probably kitchen with how this is going. Never looked up, never did anything, and you really didn't need to, because every single kill happened on the bottom floor.
Yeah, look at him. He's trying to hype up the crowd. And I mean, right now, if you're Reciprocity, why wouldn't you? You've got the crowd's favor right now. Like I said, Rec has a huge following here in Japan compared to almost every other NA team. And just take advantage of that while you can. Get the crowd behind you. What's left of the crowd. By the way, like we said, it's 9:30 at night. A lot of people have gone home. So it's going to be a little quieter in here. A little bit more, I guess, moody than eccentric like we've seen earlier on today. But I must give a massive shout out to all the Japanese fans that have come out. You guys have been massively incredible with your volume, your cheering, your support for all the teams, regardless of region. It's been quite the impressive showing, especially with no Japanese teams present playing.
It's something we've talked about for a very long time, and I finally feel like the Rainbow Six scene in general is getting it. You can cheer for your team. You can make noise. It's perfectly fine. You're not in your bedroom. It's not weird. It's okay. Don't worry about it. And it's just, I love it, man. I love it. Every single time that we get crowd reaction, you can feel it in your chest. It just makes your heart happy. But for Ninjas in Pyjamas, they're definitely not going to be feeling that. As again, we have to talk about that asterisk in just a little bit. They're down two of their main players, Baraz as well as Polo, and my brain almost defaulted to Paula earlier for just a second as I saw the name, and it was like, oh no. So Ninjas in Pyjamas now, though, you can see that their lineup over the last two rounds is more of an aggressive lineup. Obviously, the Rock and the Dokkaebi, but the two things I want to make as a focal point are obviously the Twitch and the Ash. They want to try and get in the face of Reciprocity, and that seems to really be the only manner that they can possibly take. Adding any more structure is not going to work out in your favor, but Reciprocity continues to take these aggressive peaks.
You know, we talk about TSM a lot with their three-headed monster. Honestly, Reciprocity's in the same boat. Sky is getting an early double here in an attempted rush into the bomb site. Shut down in its tracks, and that's 3 on the round now for Skies. Looking to make it a flawless round. It's just Muzi left alive now on the Ash upstairs in VIP. The bomb site, once again, neglected for the most part there, as it is kitchen, to the surprise of many. Holding inside of VIP will be Muzi, as he's got a lot to contend with. Sky's on about 20 HP, was planning in behind the Lambo desk, and he's got one to contend with inside of Theater. Another one rotating through luggage upstairs. Sounded like a Nitro cell went off in the floorboards, not in the same area code as Muzi, but losing 50 HP to the member inside of luggage, and there it goes. Flawless round there for Reciprocity, and the wheels are falling off the track kind of quickly here for Nip.
Yeah, we're not even at a detour right now. It's kind of a car crash, isn't it? Yeah. But Ninjas in Pyjamas, I mean, here's the thing. What do you tell them? Because there's nothing here you can just go, oh, this is terrible. They're not doing this. They're not doing that. I mean, again, you have two people in that don't know the team. They just don't know. And the thing is for NIP is that they lost the core of the roster. That's the rough thing going into this. And when you're playing against a roster like Reciprocity, who has the most aggressive roam style inside of North America, you're going to have a bad time.
The thing with Reciprocity is, for NIP, they're trying to be unpredictable. You can see Pino, rushing into the bomb site through kitchen door without clearing anything, just trying to get picks on site to cause havoc on the side of Rec. That's not a thing that's really going to benefit you against Rec. They are so reactive and quick on the fly. There's not a lot that trips them up. They're a very, very adaptable team. They're malleable, honestly. They are never rigid. They are constantly changing and evolving all the time. That's honestly one of the best factors that make them one of the better teams in North America. The second seed coming in here against NIP, I mean, if this had happened to NIP against another team that was a little more rigid, maybe against Dark Zero, although we saw FaZe also fall a little bit short there, maybe you'd have a better chance at playing that unpredictable play style, but honestly, this is just not the team you're going to get away with making those weird plays with. Rec is going to read you and react on the fly, as they always do for every team they play. This is every day in the park for Rec right now.
Reciprocity is the embodiment of be like water, my friend. They shape into whatever they need to in order to achieve victory. And they were able to prove that once again throughout the entirety of the North American Pro League season. Granted, they cut it very close. It was very dangerous near the end. But they're in Japan. They're playing on the stage right now. And it doesn't seem like they're slowing down. Even though Ninjas in Pyjamas is down 2 people, Reciprocity is not changing up the game plan. The game plan is dominate.
Always has, and it always will be. Barrows looking to go in for an Aquarium push. Solo on the Jackal. I mean, I don't hate that play. I would like to see Barrows and Polo try and, I don't know, group up a little bit. If anyone's unfamiliar with the language dynamic, if you missed the intro from the analyst desk, Barrows and Polo speak Spanish, while the rest of the NIP team obviously speaks Portuguese, as they're from Brazil. So there is a little bit of overlap there in the languages, but not entire overlap. So it's going to be them trying to work as a duo and the original members of NIP trying to be a trio and try and do their own individual tasks. It seems like Barrows and Polo right now are playing incredibly solo, though. I'd like to see them group up a little bit more and try and be a bit more of a dynamic duo to try and influence some of these rounds. Right now, they just seem so separated, and all of NIP seem very separated in just trying to be a superstar on their own. And you know, we can talk about the situation ad nauseum, but for right now, NIP, I don't know, I think grouping up a little bit and trying to play trades would benefit a little bit better in this kind of chaotic situation.
I believe that's really the only thing that you can do is try and play for trades, group up. I mean, worst case scenario, what happens? You lose the map. I mean, at that point, who really cares, to be completely blunt with you? Gonna have some vertical pressure now coming through. Oh, Retro right on the tailcoats of Psycho. Not enough damage to be able to claim the kill, but just enough to let him go, hi, I know you're there. Don't worry about it. Minute remaining now, though, as Pino will actually get the opening frag this time around. That's onto Retro. That'll be the smoke removed as he actually rotated over towards the bottom of Cool Vibes. Sky's inside of Kitchen, but his angle's already been cut off. He tries to challenge out, but Sky's, his entire Reciprocity roster, just not scared of any gunfight.
We got an entrance into Sunrise now, which is the bomb site. Mark and Sky trying to work their way out of Kitchen. Laxing as well, coming through the Kitchen hallway outside. So 3 members of Reciprocity caught off guard. There goes Moosey trying to go for a solo entry in the back. Skies bursts his way out of the Cool Vibe stairs. The plant attempted twice for Polo, and he pulls off consecutively. He'll get the kill into Laxing, though, and no trade coming out. 2 big kills, 3 big kills for NIP. It's Skies alone in the 1v3 situation as Polo will try and get the bomb down in behind the couches and shut down. NIP will get themselves on the board at the very least. Beautiful frags back to back to back there for the Ninjas as they stay alive here.
Reciprocity caught sleeping on the information game. You really didn't see anything come through for them on that front, and it shows. Ninjas in Pyjamas able to just walk into the site and start trying to put a diffuser down, forcing them to rotate over towards Sunrise. You already have Kitchen as well as Cool Vibe control, and that's really all you need. They have to try and move in through that area in order to get to the site, and you bag a couple free kills, and all of a sudden you have your first round.
All starts with a little bit of momentum here for NIP, as honestly we've seen a lot of upsets today. Whether or not Wildcard came away with the victory or not, that was still quite the upset in terms of round count. Top coverage here from Psycho really being the difference maker. Just not a lot of presence upstairs there for Rec, and NIP taking advantage, pushing into the freedom that was the bomb site. Lots of roaming over by that Kitchen and the Kitchen hallway there. 3 members of Reciprocity, all caught off by 1 flank hold on Cool Vibe stairs. It's a dangerous game to be playing for Rec, but they're no stranger to playing on that knife's edge. Still a 2-1 lead here for Reciprocity, and they're not going to try and reattempt the Sunrise and Blue Bar bomb site. They're going to go back upstairs to Hookah, where we began with that roam that made us forget that the bomb was even Hookah, as all 5 kills came downstairs.
And again, I think that the main thing for Reciprocity is that going into this matchup, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Just do what you're good at, and you're more than likely going to win the game. I think that the only thing that they got caught lacking on in that last round was that info game. You're able to patch that up, bring it back. I mean, we even had Retro die pretty early on, but it still seemed like they didn't have any positional awareness of where Ninjas in Pyjamas were. So again, if they patch that up, I really feel like this is going to go back to being very dominant rounds by Reciprocity. But it always could go the way of Ninjas in Pyjamas if they're able to continue just getting directly onto site. That was the game plan the last time around. Don't try and go for a roam clear. Don't try and play into the hand of Reciprocity. Just go directly to the site, try and get a diffuser down, play the objective, and see how it works out.
In terms of the operator lineup for NIP, I was much more favoring of Polo on the Nomad, considering how much that Rec are roaming. You know, they're typically only sticking 1 to 2 people on the bomb site. Speaking of the bomb site, Pino tries to walk on in again, but it'll be crossed up. Barrows will at least trade out Foxe off site. Now the Ash Charge coming out onto the wall. Psycho's got to back off pretty quickly there. He's going to take some team damage, but quick trades back and forth. You lose the Buck for the Legion early on, a demise there for Foxe. You also have Barrows with no shotgun on the Jackal, so that might be a situation of maybe not fixing all the attachments in time. But the drones will come out, and he'll check his backside, leave a flank drone for the dead Pino to watch for him. It's a solo push over towards Aquarium right now for Barrows, as the rest of NIP coalescing outside of VIP and the hookah balcony. It's kind of like a 3-pronged push here for NIP.
Yeah, a little bit more sophisticated than we expected, but it could always work out. ADSs are going to eat up the frag grenades of Psycho. We do still have Polo alive, always does have those logic bombs in hand. He could possibly have one more. I don't believe we've seen a phone call just yet, so could possibly have 2 as well. Definitely has some Jackal scans still in his pocket, and that's going to be Barras rocking that. But now things have started to slow down, and Ninjas in Pyjamas are not getting these gunfights that they want. Retro will take one, and he's going to bag it. It's going to be Muzi. Barras had traded out on an extremely long angle with the ACOG throw all the way out on Aquarium Balk. Smoke grenades now pouring in. We still have a minute remaining as well. Ninjas in Pyjamas have to choose which bomb site they want to try and attack. Are you going to go for the standard Aquarium, or are you going to go for the hookah balcony? It seems like they're going to go for the latter, but Retro's going to shut him down. That's going to be a triple in the round for him already. The last 2 remaining members outside, one on Aquarium. Seems like the other one has rotated his way into Mudroom.
Psycho's going to head, downstairs and through Sunrise. Laxing still holding cool vibe stairs. I don't think he's aware of Psycho's entrance, but Skies will take down Polo. So the man downstairs with the SMG-11 in hand, with the last man standing for NIP as he tries to retreat up the cool vibe stairs. Seems like Laxing has a beat on him as he's staring down the stairwell, and he'll decapitate him as his head peeks over the railing. See Retro getting a little hyped up there. A big round for Retro on the smoke that round, and Reciprocity, all cylinders firing. They get back on track with another round in the bag. They take the 3-1 lead now to start things off on Coastline. We've seen some rounds or round advantages on Coastline be surrendered pretty swiftly, honestly. It's I don't think it's a clean sweep just yet, but Retro, big performer on the round there. And I will say, I like NIP's change here for, barring Pino's attempted rush into the bomb site for the last couple rounds, common reminiscent of Citizens fails on Clubhouse for 3 straight rounds.
Yeah, it's not something you want to see.
But I think for NIP, the first round, they learned their lesson. Okay, we're going to try and roam clear. All right, we don't know how to roam clear properly with this lineup, so we're going to abandon that and try and get a little site-centric. And I like that. You know, if you ignore the roam with how much Rec are roaming, bring that Nomad, like I said, for Polo. Right now he's still rocking the Dokkaebi, but if you isolate site and make Reciprocity constantly retake back onto their own bomb site, it's going to get tiring for Rec. And for NIP, you might be able to squeak a couple rounds here and there off of Reciprocity's constant smothering of map control. They love real estate. They love holding every inch of the map and constantly challenging your possible entry in those 1v1s because they're very confident in their gunplay. For NIP, I mean, again, I think attacking the site directly is good. I think Pino walking into bomb site 30 seconds in is not good. So alterations could be made here for NIP, but I like the trend they're going with right now.
Yeah, that's the one rough thing about Rainbow Six in general, is that it's a complete team game. You can drop every frag in the world and you'll still lose a map. It doesn't matter. So when you lose 2 main members like that, you kind of just have to set one objective and go, okay, this is our main focus for the entire match. We're objective-centric. We just want to put that diffuser down, and that's our game plan. Reciprocity is obviously going to do Reciprocity. That's how they've always played, and that's what we've been talking about this entire time. But on a side note, looking back at it, Flynn, Reciprocity's bans, I believe the visual was taken away because they took away the Lion, and they didn't want something that could possibly counter Lion. Or actually, no, that doesn't even make sense either.
No,
just saying that out loud. So, like, again, that does beg the question. Like, I'm still stuck on this. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to put the pieces together. Because you took Vigil out after you already banned Lion, which is the counter, like, okay.
I mean, NIP does play a decent amount of Vigil, I would say slightly more than other teams or slightly more than the average, but outside of that, I mean...
Is it something that you would highlight and go, this is important?
Not really. There's other operators. A drop to the hatch, though. I don't think that was intentional, but Psycho still picks up a kill for it. Walking into the bathroom now. Barrows will take down Laxing as well. There's a man in the bomb site, but Retro will shut him down, thankfully, for Reciprocity. That was danger territory, but Muzi will trade out Mark. So now it's down to the 4v2 here. NIP looking in control once again. Foxay going for a flank upstairs. A peek from Retro will be his 6-foot under grave, as now it's just Foxay alone in a 1v4. Pushing down the kitchen hallway, not on the bomb site. It's the perfect entry opportunity for NIP to push into the service doorway, as vaulting into the courtyard will be Fox. On the Valkyrie, already expending his Nitro Cell and not connecting with it. The phone call will ring out as the man on main stairs will be holding it. It'll be Barros to cut him down with that C7E to 20 HP as he retreats on the 180 and tries to re-engage, but there he goes. Barros will shut it out, and there we're trading rounds back and forth as we've seen on Coast all day long. NIP still well in the fight.
Ninjas in Pyjamas is doing a very good job, as we were talking about earlier, just setting the objective and saying, this is our game plan. This is all we're going for. Just do whatever you got to do to make this successful. And so far, it's been working out for them. They just need to drive this home. As for Reciprocity, it still seems like they're just lacking inside of that information department, and that might be why they're shifting things over to the Pulse onto Foxay, which inside of North America, he's kind of known for his Pulse play, specifically for his very weird setup on the UMP45. He runs a red dot, angled grip, and extended barrel. Couple of things that we don't see very, very often, specifically the red dot side. Sorry to put you on blast like that, David.
No, you're good. So, yeah, that drop there from Psycho was the one thing that kind of, like, threw me off. I don't actually know if it was intentional, but he dropped onto the mute that was playing inside a lobby, got the kill and pushed into the bomb site. If he picked up Retro as well, that's just free site control, because, again, Rec only playing one man on site, and that's Retro, always on the smoke. Looks like Sky's taking on the smoke, so Retro is actually going to swap off as I say that, just to make me look like an idiot. And we're going to be going to defense of...
Penthouse.
We are Pent defense,
Pent. Well, Mira's up.
That's fair.
So
that's fair.
That's usually how it goes. Check box. Is Mira up? No. Okay, we can't play Pen. Check box. Is Mira up? Yes. Okay, cool. We can play Pen, unless your name's Wildcard. That's about it.
There you go. Yeah, Wildcard was playing regardless. So, for NIP... Oh, is that a prone spawn peek through the Lamborghini doorway?
Did you just say Lamborghini doorway?
I did say Lamborghini doorway. Yeah, it looked like someone from right there was going to get a little cheeky through the bottom of the door. You can also get on top of the desk, and it was Retro looking down through the bottom of the double barricade there, but didn't spot any feet, so he's going back to it, though. And that's the thing. Reciprocity never afraid to take chances and take shots at their opponents, regardless of who's on the opposite side of the field from them. Right now for NIP, they've done well, honestly, to contain themselves and get a little more site-oriented, not getting caught up in a lot of the roam and honestly avoiding a good majority of it. For Psycho now pushing downstairs, trying to open up and wait for any rotations. That's the thing. Reciprocity seem a little antsy right now. You know, they seem like they're constantly moving. They don't feel comfortable sitting still right now. And for how, honestly, for lack of a better term, erratic NIP are playing, I can understand it, but I think NIP are starting to read into this and really trying to counter it by sitting a little bit more still, waiting for these rotations, waiting for Rec to walk into them.
I think the main thing right now for Rec is that they just need to continue to play their game, continue to force the opposition to the outside of the map. And the main thing for them is, oh no, Laxing's going to get shut down. Fox with a trade. He recognizes out that they're going to try and pressure him into security door. They're coming from both angles. Can he win out some more? No, he can't. That's going to be a double for Psycho. And all of a sudden, this is looking like Reciprocity could possibly be in some treacherous territory. Retro's going to get caught out on the top of main stairs. A little bit of damage dealt to him, but not enough to be fatal just yet. Almost on equal footing here, but they're going to need one in order to find that equalizer. Psycho still has frag grenades in hand, but that doesn't seem like it's going to do too much unless it can extend its way down the hallway. Retro's going to find a unique angle inside of Vase and then delves right back into sight where he'll find his friend Mark, but he challenges back out, and that's going to be a double for Retro.
Beautiful work there for Retro to reestablish the man advantage. First equalizing, then putting his team up and evading the frag grenade. A second one being cooked and being launched in, but Mark with the beautiful one tap onto Polo. It's all Barrows left alone with the pistol and hand. The USP 40 and the swing from Mark will not connect until the bitter end. And that's going to send us 4-2 into the half. And Reciprocity, they're feeling themselves once again.
And this is the danger of Reciprocity. It seems that the hot hand continues to change around this entire team, Flynn. They've always been like that. Foxay will pop off one round, then it goes to Laxing, then it goes to Retro, then it goes to Mark. I mean, for a team based in Vegas, they're definitely a lot of gamblers because they are always aggro. Sometimes it doesn't work out, but sometimes it goes exactly how that round went.
So, looks like we're going to go to a technical pause. So, there's something wrong. So, we will wait until we correct whatever is wrong.
I think that's the best way to put that, yeah.
Yep.
Something is not working properly, so therefore we must fix it.
Production said I'm really good at describing things, so you know what? That's my new job.
They broke things. We now have to go to a technical pause.
Yeah, we'll fix it. It's a 4-2 half lead right now for Reciprocity, and hey, NIP hanging in it.
Mark's got to just be happy about that kill. Like, it was more than likely a misclick, so in that instance, probably just like, oh.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I hit him in the head. That's all skill.
I think right now for NIP, you're still hanging with. And like I said, we've seen a lot of round advantages evaporate in a heartbeat on Coastline today, and in general, actually. Cafe started to slip away from Wildcard pretty quickly there, and Clubhouse as well for Na'Vi. I mean, there's been a lot of rounds so far that have been strung together by teams that were honestly underdogs, you know. Some people were saying, you know, don't call them the underdogs, give them a shot. I mean, they're underdogs, let's be honest. Reciprocity is the clear favorite in this game, and there's not much disputing that.
You got to call a spade a spade.
For Reciprocity, though, I think the key thing that's going to keep them ahead is everyone's firing on all cylinders right now. There's no weak point right now on Reciprocity. Sometimes when they're off a little bit, you can kind of see it. There's one person kind of lagging behind. When Reciprocity, all 5 members are clicking like this, it is a hard team to beat, even for some of the best teams in the world. This is kind of what we saw from them at the 6 Invitational as well, when they were firing on all cylinders. All 5 members of the team constantly going, never taking a round off, always with their foot pressed right up against the edge of the gas pedal. That's what pushed them past EG. I mean, honestly, for Reciprocity, when they're playing like this, it's hard for any team to beat them, let alone NIP with 2 subs.
It just begs the question, how much is Reciprocity going to flirt with this matchup? Because, again, if you play with it too much, it could definitely not go the way you want it to, and Ninjas in Pyjamas could all of a sudden become some monster that you can't shut down. We know LATAM, and, well, we really know their playstyle. It's an emotional playstyle. If they are able to gain leverage on you, they can just run 5 rounds in a row and the game's over.
I think the benefit for Rec is they're definitely on home field territory in terms of playing on Coastline and then heading to Consulate. Consulate will be a little more even, I imagine, in terms of experience on the map, but Coastline is just one of these maps that Latin America as a whole does not favor when they're playing regionally, when they're playing against other Latin American teams, and even inter-regionally, it's one of those maps that they pull out as kind of like a 50-50. It's not something that Latin America as an entire region, or NIP specifically, have ever truly excelled on as a map, whether it be regionally or inter-regionally. For Reciprocity, though, I mean, this is their hometown. They love Coastline. They run these fragging maps like it's their baby. And for Reciprocity right now, heading over to the attack, that's also where they feed a lot of their momentum off of. They love being on the attacking side and entering into unfamiliar territory. They're so reactive on the fly, and for NIP to be able to quell that and be able to honestly stay in pace with Reciprocity, they're going to have to mimic a lot of what Rec was bringing in terms of that roaming, lock down a lot of that map control, because if you can stall out Rec for a little while, you're going to be in a good spot when they try to convert for that site execute, which has given them trouble in recent days. For NIP, though, it's about getting to that point. It's about getting to that, 30-second mark on the clock, because not all these rounds have made it that far.
Well, the beauty of Coastline on the defense is that you can play extremely aggressive to the outside of the building because you can rotate so quickly throughout this map. I mean, you have 2 staircases, an entire empty section of the map right in the center that you can just hop into. There's so many different areas that you are able to path through in order to just play safely off of this aggression. And that's what Reciprocity traditionally does on this map. If Ninjas in Pyjamas can try and mimic the same thing, then we could see them start to rack up these defensive rounds. We're under 2 minutes now. as Reciprocity is poised to try and take over site. Doc's going to get lit up, but obviously it's Doc. He won't be lit up for too long. And the man that will be lit up is Retro as he finally gets confirmed by Muzi. Laxing with a refrag, Mark to tag on. Oh no, it seems like the Reciprocity train is warming right back up, folks, as that's going to be 3 quick kills in the span of 5 seconds.
Looks like Psycho is trapped inside of Sunrise as well. Pino trying to support from inside the lobby, but yeah, pinned now from the blue bar from Cool Vibe Stairs. Psycho's got nowhere to go. The diffuser was surrendered out there. I believe it was Retro carrying it when he dropped it when he died, but Mark has recovered and now everyone bailing out of the blue bar. Looks like Reciprocity going for a wraparound. Sky's still holding from the blue bar door. There goes Pino on site, so now site control, diffuser control, still holding through the prone hole there. Psycho will blast him off though. The nice shot onto Skies, hitting the deck and looking through the prone holes once again, but the plant gets completed in the post plant. There's really nothing to do there on the retake. Reciprocity, they overload into that clear on the far side, and NIP, the roam not paying off as many dividends as Reciprocity's roam was.
That's the issue with trying to battle into Reciprocity when they're on offense. You assume it's one man in a room, and then there's someone directly across from him already holding his rotate, and you're like, you guys just got into the building. You're immediately traded out, and then it just continues down that same path, and they just get kill after kill after kill. And then it's a 2 versus 5, and you're just holding your head in your hands going, okay, that should not have went that way. But as we continue on down the line, this is now going to be 5-2 in the favor of Reciprocity, and I really don't think that anyone is surprised at this time. As much as we want to try and give you guys all the love that we can possibly give you into this match and just imbue it with energy, we're trying our best over here, folks, we promise you.
It's just... it's kind of hard to watch NIP right now because they look so fractured.
I mean, you even look at their cameras, man. You look at their cameras, and Pino just looks like a husk of himself. He's just sitting there, you know? It's kind of a heartbreaker, I'm not going to lie to you.
It is. It is really sad to kind of see this, and like I said, they look very fractured, and it's to be expected because you got 2 guys not speaking the same language as the other 3. And I don't even think, like, because they definitely haven't converted to English comms. None of the guys here on this team speak English very well, at least enough to communicate at the high rate of speed that you need to for a competitive match, especially on land here at a Pro League final. So they're sticking to half Portuguese, half Spanish right now, and the little overlap there is between the two, and it's clearly just not working out. They don't look like they're on the same page, and the one thing I was talking about in the green room before this game even started is if you play Barras and Polo as a duo and they die, if they die, they still can't relay. They can't be useful because they can talk, but it's going to take them a while to find the right words to say for comms. So putting them on cams is not as beneficial as it would be if it was a person speaking Portuguese, right? So what do you do then? Do you run in and die and then you can't really speak to them? You know, it's just... communication is such a huge factor in Siege, and having them fracture between languages, you're definitely not at full strength. And it's showing in their gameplay right now.
I mean, could you possibly imagine, folks, having to play with 2 people that don't even speak the language that you speak? I mean, I've queued Western Europe and had to play with people that do not speak English. You just go, okay, well, I guess I kind of make the call out and just hope that they understand kind of what I'm saying. It's a very, very rough thing, and I don't think that there's any correction course that you can possibly take with that.
So I think Psycho took damage from his own guns before, but I don't know if he was close enough to actually take self-damage from that Nitrocell. He was trying to get Foxay off the window, but smart play there for Fox to get off the rappel immediately, wait for the Nitrocell, and now get back on. Clearing the ADS, and that frag grenade is going to down Barros as well. The Maestro in behind the hookah bar. A second one will be sent in, and it will confirm the kill. There goes Barros. There goes that Aldo removed from play. Smoke grenades coming out from Polo now as they put the 2 Spaniards on support roles now, try and let the NIP members run around and frag a little bit more as a trio. Reciprocity are going to have a little bit of trouble entering into Aquarium, as it looks like Retro has one to contend with inside of Aqua, and Nitrocell being primed, but not being launched out just yet. I imagine that would be Pino, as Psycho has already launched his into a window frame. Time deceptively low here, though, and Muzi will take down Mark. So big run there from Muzi as he goes out onto the VIP balcony. A drop down here for Psycho as well as he contends. Trying to open up the reinforced wall onto the top of Cool Vibes. It's not going very well here for Reciprocity, and they're stalling out.
Yeah, they're trying to get Vase open, but it's going to be an aggressive take here as Skies will actually get a kill from underneath, I do believe. No, he's out on the hookah balcony. Just a quick rotation by Psycho as he walks right into that line of sight. Do they know Polo's in sight now? No. It's going to be Muzi to try and shut things down. He's almost all on his lonesome. Pino is trying to pick up the pieces here. It's a 1 versus 2. Knocked it down to the 1 versus 1. He could possibly win it out. He has a P10 Roni. He's got to get that reload in. They don't have the diffuser down just yet, but it's going to be Pino. Ninjas in Pyjamas still alive in this one.
Yikes, wreck. That stall out there, and then everyone flooding into hookah. Not a lot of support, no big window repel.
No, that was the main thing for me. Like, yeah, you had the aquarium balcony handled with that repel, but nobody big window. I mean, that's a rudimentary area to play. And yeah, the thing for me is that I was going to say, after I assumed Reciprocity was going to win that round, that they're going for the surgical take. Take your time, do your entire checklist, work your way down, get the angles you want inside of sight, then try and get that diffuser down to where you know things are safe. But it was anything but that. They just all of a sudden, through caution of the wind, rushed into sight and ended up losing the round because of it.
Well, I mean, you got to give big props to Pino there for staying poised in that kind of situation. And that's a player that was talked about earlier on in the season having confidence issues, and that's why he was benched momentarily in the middle of the season for the online stage. And honestly, for this kind of situation, you probably take all your worries about expectations and throw them out the window. You can see them still getting hyped up between rounds. And for Reciprocity, like we said, you don't want to lose your grip. You don't want to give them any kind of momentum switching back into the game. You really want to keep them at bay. And they still have a 2-round barrier to hold off right now. For NIP on the defense, looks like we're heading to Kitchen. So, I mean, my one worry right now is if Reciprocity start turning on the gas and start turning this into, frags in the first 30 seconds, everyone dumping into sight, it's going to turn ugly pretty quickly.
I'm surprised that we don't even have that now.
I was going to say,
it was very weird pacing by Reciprocity when you know that the animal across from you is wounded.
Like, they're stalling out for these tacking rounds, and I don't really know why. They had freedom of mobility. Everyone was backed off on NIP and playing pretty timid, playing pretty safe. And I mean, why wouldn't you play safe in this kind of situation? You're at such a disadvantage, and you're on the defense, so you have the ability to wait out the clock, but it was Reciprocity waiting out more of the clock than anything on these rounds. I really want to see Rec kind of pick up the pace a little bit, because NIP is within striking distance here. This is still a very throwable match.
Hopefully this doesn't turn into a mental game for Reciprocity, because as I was saying before with the whole animal thing, it's kind of like playing with your food. Again, Ninjas in Pyjamas are hurting. They're down 2 people. Just do what you need to do in order to win the game. And right now it seems like Rec are so scared of losing that they're not focused on winning.
That's been a big problem for a lot of teams today. And Pino getting aggressive out towards office. There are 2 drones on him, and yeah, he's not going to be long for this world as Skies will put a bullet in his head. A piece of lead will also find the cranium of Psycho coming out of the barrel of Mark. So recovering the diffuser now as they continuously drop it. I kind of like that strat actually from Rec. Drop the diffuser outside because everyone on this team can gun. Drop it outside at an easy access point and start running in and see what you can accomplish. And this is more what I wanted to see from Reciprocity in terms of picking up the pace, expediting their entries, getting 2 onto Psycho and Pino. So now you've got Polo and Barros, the Spaniard subs, and you've got Muzi alone right now. So the only man who can speak Portuguese that is alive is Muzi. Trying to contest in towards Hookah there. He's got Barros as support, but he's going to peel on back, and Barros is going to join him now as the clock is about to strike 60 seconds remaining.
Reciprocity now focusing down on site. Mute jammers in play, so Mark's going to have to be worried about that drone. He gets it in through, though. You can see it through the wall if you know what you're looking for. A quick trade back and forth between the 2 teams. Man advantage still in the hands of Reciprocity. Obviously, they were still 5 up. Sky's going to push it 1 step further. It's going to be up to Polo, the sub, to try and find 4 to win out the round. Does he know where this plant's going down? He should just pre-fire right to his right. Oh, Nitro Cell to sail over. He thinks he's planting by the door, but he's not. Mark's going to be planting close. Pre-fires through. They know he's inside of the bathroom now. Catches a couple of bullets in his rear, but it's going to be a confirm from Mark. And all smiles on the Reciprocity side.
Again, we keep trading rounds back and forth here, but that early 3-1 lead for Reciprocity has given them the breathing room that they really required to keep handling this. They have the ability to trade out rounds back and forth. Even if they lose this one, they can win the next one as it's the pattern, and they will take map number 1. It's match point now for Reciprocity. on Coastline. We'll be heading to Consulate as map number 2 between these two teams, and hopefully, like I said, NIP on a little more familiar ground on Consulate than on Coastline. For NIP, honestly, if it was NIP's full roster, I would still be saying it's a little shaky for them to be going against Rec on Coast. Rec is just that good on Coast, and NIP is just that unfamiliar with Coastline. It's
well,
still
as far as we know.
Well, it's in their pool, but they don't play it unless they absolutely have to. It's one of those maps that gets banned out quite often. I think they had a 1-0-2 record in the last 6 months.
Especially inside of LATAM. I mean, we've talked about this for a very long time with this region, that there's really only one team that plays Coastline, and that's Team 1. Ninjas and Pyjamas isn't even inside of that conversation. Traditionally speaking, LATAM favors Bank, but NIP doesn't even do that. They kind of have a really a smorgasbord of maps that they play, and it's everything besides Bank, really. Bank and Cafe are the two maps that are just completely off the table.
Yeah. So, looks like we're going downstairs to Kitchen once again. We're going to try and run that back for NIP, and I imagine having a longer survivability for your roamers is probably key number 1, as those entries were pretty quick for Reciprocity. Lots of holes being opened up, try and get some more visibility here, and hopefully some more intel. It seems like both of these teams have been lacking intel on the bomb site specifically. You know, Polo alone inside of the bathroom in a 1v4, he's never expected to win that situation, but the plant's going down 3 feet from him on the other side of a soft wall, and they don't know where it is. Like, that's the problem right there. Even if he gets that kill onto Mark, obviously, it doesn't mean he wins the round. It's just both teams, Reciprocity and NIP, both lacking intel on the bomb site specifically, whether it be a rush or a plant attempt.
Well, it's one of those things where you can kind of tell that they are out of practice inside of Siege, whereas for quite a few people, when you hear that sound, that's almost an immediate pre-fire to that exact spot, because you're either going to hit the man that's planting next to the door, or you're going to hit the other default spot closer to the wall. And if it doesn't work out, Nitro Cell over, try for something a little bit more explosive instead. But a very nice shot from Reciprocity by the likes of Foxay to take down Pino.
Yeah, Pino just... I get what he was doing. He threw a Valkyrie camera outside that Aqua Balk door. He was waiting outside the door to go for a run and go for a jump out. Skies had him from ruins if Fox hadn't gotten from the roof, and also just leaving himself exposed there while on the cameras. It's pretty poor positioning there for Pino to sacrifice his life early, and with their backs against the wall here on map number 1, it doesn't seem like their troubles are going to be quelled anytime soon, as Team Reciprocity midway through the round here, still in the driver's seat as they look to aggress in towards service once again. They've done an excellent job on the roam clear. Again, time control has been a little worrisome on some of these rounds, but it seems like every other round they get their act together and really start putting their foot to the pedal.
Well, Reciprocity, the timer continues to tick down on them. They're on the offensive side, and they're just trying to bait for these kills, really. That's been the focal point so far throughout the entire round is, can we possibly cut off some rotates, maybe get some freebies, then try to get a diffuser down? It isn't the same Reciprocity we saw the last time where it was just all gas, no brakes. And I'm really starting to feel like Reciprocity, once again, is just so focused on not losing, not falling into the exact same trap that we saw EG fall in so long ago, that it's really slowed down their playstyle. They have the diffuser in hand. It looks like this is going to be a delivery plant once again, but I don't believe that they're going to let Mark get it off in the same instance. Upside down rappel getting allocated for Retro. This is pretty rudimentary so far. The rest of Ninjas and Pyjamas, though, needs to wake up and rotate over. They have the areas that they really need. They're still playing inside a delivery. We do have the Legion holding for a rotation through security. Concussions pour in, but it's going to be onto Mark. It'll actually stunt his growth there for just a second, but Fox wins out onto Psycho. A very weird gunfight. Muzi will trade it back onto Fox, so that shuts him down, but it's going to be Laxing once again to trade things out. Ninjas and Pyjamas, especially Muzi, sprinting into his angle, gets absolutely nothing in return, though.
Defenders have eyes on the diffuser.
Diffuser down near the door. Retro on the upside down rappel still, so this is more than likely going to be pretty easy for him. Able to bag the first kill. Muzi is the only man remaining for Ninjas in Pyjamas. Can Reciprocity win out the first map? It'll be Skies, and Reciprocity makes it a quick 7-3.